Hello, welcome to the fifth lecture on this series on research methodology and paper writing. I am Ahad from University of Dhaka. Currently, I'm working at Osaka University. So you can get the four previous lectures from this link, or you can get underneath. The links are there. So today I'll try to discuss about selecting journals and conferences difficult to find bed or business journals and to decide where I would like to submit my conference papers and attend and learn. I'd like to go through one by one. Some terms on publications like peer reviews, where reviewers will judge a paper. Most of the cases, the IEEE conferences and others, they mention the double blind submission. It means that in the initial submission, you must not add any author's information, no acknowledgement, so that one can find your identity. Okay, no need to do that. And at the same time, reviewers' information will not be informed to the authors as well. As there are single blind submission as well, where you can put the author's information, but you will never know who were the reviewers. And in some journals, when they publish, they mention the reviewers, or sometimes at least the associate editors who was involved in the decision. So review results can be accepted, very rare that it is directly accepted. If you get like that, assume that that is not a good one. This is normally, but there is no universal 100% information. Almost all cases you get accept with minor revision. It means that the revisions you can make and it will be accepted. But if you have major revision, it means that it might be rejected as well, unless you attend all the points carefully. And if you get reject, then you are rejected and dejected, but don't be hopeless. You try to do better in the next stage. Journals. Globally, the SCI indexed or SCIE indexed journals or Scopus index journals are considered as good journals. So, SCI indexing and a later part SCI expanded, which will ultimately turn into SCI index journals by ISI, have impact factors like impact factor point something or 1, 2, 3, and the impact factor will vary from area to area. If one area has many journals, then definitely the impact factor will not be that much high. But in some areas, impact factors are very high, and so on. So, it varies from domain to domain. Scopus indexed journals, PubMed, and others are there. But if you can submit to SCI journal, then it is better than Scopus index, but both are okay in most of the areas in the world. And another terminology is called Q1, Q2, Q3, this kind of categorizations. If you want to know further which journals are under this category, then you can just look into, and Google can help you a lot. So ask the Google Sensei to help you. Impact factor is important, but unfortunately there are cheaters in this domain that they make fake impact factor. So if you find a journal looks like a new publisher, and journal is also new and doesn't look good, but if you look at the website, you find that they mention IF 4.8. Wow, how is it possible? So quickly, that much. If you click the IF, they mention that they have a different kind of indexing pattern and a different kind of faking the or cheating the community. So be aware of those journals, because if you publish those and put into your CV, and if someone can understand that you are submitting or publishing in a fake one, then your identity will be questionable. It happened in the past in many cases, in my cases as well, but be careful not to do this. So and many cases, online journals, or sometimes they print as well. They say they print, and paid journals are suspicious. So you have to check. No benefits to publish in crap journals. Fake impact factor, fake indexing. Now, how to find a kept journal? There are a few criterias. Again, I'm saying that it will not be perfect. It is not possible to mention. But see the editorial board or committee. If it is with good people, then you can trust. But unfortunately, I found some journals. That they have added some people. Even those people are not aware of. I found one journal. they added one of the legendary persons in the world as a committee member, and I asked him that why the hell you were in that group, and he said I have no idea. And unfortunately, if you click some of the cases that email to the editor and so on, you will find that the email is going to non-personal address, but directly to the web journal's domain and so on. So you can easily find those are not good. Sometimes formatting is an issue, but many journals nowadays they have staffs, they pay, so formattings become very good. But inside the paper, the image quality is rubbish. Quality of the works, I mean, definitely very bad. So you can understand that this cannot be a good journal. And in some journals, they publish, I mean, even 3 4 pages survey paper, review paper, and only 5 10 references. How is it possible? So if you find those, just the duration of acceptance of a paper. If it is too short, like few days or few weeks, usually not good at all, because for a journal it takes much time. Good journal or medium level journals, they take few months, even year, to review a paper, and multiple revisions to improve and enrich the work. So definitely there are a few good publishers who do quick review, but very few, and you must be careful. See the number of pages. If too many papers, sorry, see the number of papers they publish per year. If they publish too many accepted papers and with varied quality, definitely it's not good. And normally, new journals or new publishers should not get that much another way. If too many journals by one group suddenly, then definitely it's not a good group. Like, I mean, if I have a group called ahad group, and then you find that I have 50 journals, and every week I have a new journal introducing to the community and so on, a nice website, but it is not the good. So see the age of the publishing group or the journal, and whether they are publishing too many different journals from the same group within a short period of time. This is another category you can consider. Make sure that the publisher is well known, or at least some of their journals are already indexed in Scopus or Web of Science, SCI or SCIE, having some impact factor from genuine cases. So on that case, you may trust, or you can trust, because this is a new group, because new doesn't mean bad. So there are many promising people or group, they are trying to develop the community or contribute. So you can check that their publishers, those publishers may be trust. And if you find any false impact factor or any other scoring names in that journal site, then definitely you just kick that journal. Okay. And however, some publishers are universities. For example, Dhaka University, we have different faculties, they publish different journals. Of course, those journals are not good quality, even though for a longer period, but you at least you can trust that, I mean, those are not business oriented or fake one. But you have to be careful whether good or bad, because always there are category like best, better, average, and lower medium, and low quality, and rubbish, and so on. So you decide based on your work. Okay. But check the track records, quality of the published papers, and etc., so that you can understand. New not necessarily always bad if a genuine start is. Selection of your journal. So online only, this is not a problem, because even Nature, IEEE, Optical Society of America, Elsevier, Springer, they are publishing new journals online only, and those are good journals as well, and very difficult to publish, not so easy. However, I mean, Nature has scientific reports, but Nature's other published the journals are not as equivalent as scientific reports. I am one of the editorial board members of scientific reports from the beginning. I know that this is not as good as other nature journals. Similarly, IEEE Access, it is not as good as IEEE Transactions and other journals, but of course, trustworthy, good, and you can publish based on your work. So one good publication is much better than 100 crap journals. So select your level of journals, because you know your quality of the work. So based on these, you can search for which level of journals you want to explore: Q1, Q2, Q3. I mean, definitely you need to have some good record of publish, I mean, work and so on. But my recommendation is that be courageous. Submit to a little bit better journal than your quality of the works from the top publishers. And then they may give you major revision, or lots of excellent comments from which you can develop your work and further submit to that journal or similar kind of another journal later on. Few more points like quality matters, not the numbers. Print or online doesn't matter because there are many online journals. I know that in some countries, some universities or some people they prefer print only, but as I mentioned before, online is not a problem. Special issue in a journal, you will find that many journals they publish special issue on a specific topic by some guest editors, and usually these are quicker. Of course, it will vary from domain to domain, but what I mentioned here, these are all good and trustworthy publishers and so on. There are a lot more, but I did not add all. This is another new one. Sometimes we find in computer vision, machine learning, and other areas as well. We call it archive. The chai word is replaced by X. So archive.org by Cornell University. It's an open access but not published. They have a very slight peer reviewing processing and they upload it freely. So after uploading there, you can publish it elsewhere as well. In few other domains, conferences. It's also difficult, but definitely see your research area and find whether there is or there are some conferences related to. For example, in my field like IEEE, SEM, and so on. If I consider IEEE's sponsored conference, so one society, for example, they arrange one or two or three major conferences per year. So those are, of course, the top one. Co-sponsored conferences are also, I mean, okay, a good quality, but there are many technically co-sponsored conferences by different societies and IEEE sections and chapters and so on. Definitely, the quality will vary from top to bottom. But at least those are IEEE societies technical co-sponsored conference. So minimum, you can say that they crossed the threshold. So you if a conference is very widely covered areas, usually you cannot learn much, but and so on. Not so good quality. Top tier or A-star conference, you can search like in computer vision, for example, IEEE CVPR, ICCV, these are top one. In imaging, ICIP, and in biometrics, for example, be aware of many fake conferences. Unfortunately, it's a tough world now that sometimes we find that very narrow area. You look at the conference name and you find that, wow, this is a very narrow area. Why don't I join so that I can meet only those experts? But basically, many of those are fakes because they arranges 3, 4, 5, 10 conferences at the same venue at the same time. So when you attend, you find that only 5, 10, 20 people in the same room, and all are low quality people, and it's very disgusting. And in many cases, only secretary or staff communicates always. So there are some group, and in if you attend the conference, you find that 2 or 3 staffs are there and they are arranging conferences in this city and that city one after another, and there is no strong backbone to manage those conferences, and peer review quality is rubbish. So paper acceptance is too easy there, almost no review comments to enrich the paper. So we have to be very careful, very careful, because however, there are many conferences nowadays because the many researchers, many new societies, universities, and active people, they are trying, but you have to look and check whether those conferences are organized by fake strategies or genuine conference. So, top conferences, medium, low quality, okay, but avoid all fake and rubbish one. Why do you attend a conference? You must know first. Can you learn by attending that conference? From the authors, from the speakers? Are there good quality keynote speakers and so on? These are the issues. Fake conferences, they send invitations as a speaker. Wow, but you pay registration fee, attend as a speaker. So in future, we'll mention about, and I'd like to thank you all, and you can subscribe so that you can get more information and so on. Thank you very much. Let's work the best.